third is in stable condition in a local hospital. And again, that's the information I can provide at this time.
Is this a Navy watchstander who was armed, who did the shooting?
That's still part of the investigation, but we have confirmed he is an active duty sailor.
Is the shooter deceased?
The shooter is deceased.
What kind of weapon did he use?
Again, that's still part of the investigation, and I don't have that information.
The DoD civilians, employees, and did they work together with the sailor?
They were shipyard employees. Again, don't know any relationships. Obviously, in the shipyard, there's always a mixture of active duty personnel and shipyard workers.
The Columbia is not stationed here. Why was it in dry dock number 2?
Standard maintenance for submarine maintenance done in the dry dock.
How many people are employed on the Columbia?
I don't have the number of the crew of the Columbia.
And
how many witnesses were there?
Witnesses? I don't have the number of witnesses, but witnesses are still being interviewed at this time.
Do you know if the victims were targeted or if they were shot at randomly?
We have no indication yet whether they were targeted or if it was a random shooter.
Do you know if the shooter was male or female?
The shooter was male.
The victims, are they all males?
My understanding is yes, all 3 victims were male.
And just to go over again, the gunman is a sailor, he's deceased, and one civilian worker, male, also deceased.
No, the shooter is deceased, as well as 2 of the civilian shipyard workers. The third civilian shipyard worker is in stable condition in a local hospital.
3 people dead.
3 people deceased.
The 2 civilian workers that died in the shooting, did they die in the hospital?
I don't have that information.
So initial reports came in that this started around 2:30. Is that still accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay. And then what time was the lockdown?
The lockdown happened within minutes. In addition to a lockdown, a shelter-in-place order was sent out to all personnel on Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. And the time that was involved and the time that the base was in lockdown had to do with all the security protocols that had to be, sweeping nearby buildings, and had to make sure that was complete and that the scene was safe before we lifted the lockdown. Obviously, as you can see, the lockdown is been released and all gates are open now.
At what time was the shooter pronounced dead?
I don't have the exact time that the shooter's pronounced dead.
Do you know approximately how many shots were fired?
I do not have that information.
Can you tell us the policy of bringing weapons on base?
Bringing personal weapons on base is not authorized.
Was he using a personal weapon?
I don't have that information about the weapons that were used at this point, so don't know.
Do you know the time span of how long the shooting took place?
No, I just know the initial report came in almost right at 2:30 p.m.
Can you talk about the tragedy of this incident?
No, this is, again, the ohana that is everyone that works on Joint Base Pearl Harbor, and Naval Shipyard is certainly a major component of Joint Base Pearl Harbor. Generations of locals have worked in that shipyard. We're getting ready to celebrate, or at least honor, the 78th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and the role that the shipyard played in World War II is pretty legendary, and the shipyard is well known for the amazing work they did then and the amazing work they continue to do. So this is certainly a tragedy for everyone here, but certainly our sincere thoughts are with the families of the victims and everyone involved.
Has there been any discussion about, with the anniversary literally just days away, new security protocols, et cetera, for the base and for the visitor center?
We always look at the current situation and make evaluations on any upgrades in security that are needed, and that will continue.
What about, this may be one of the very first active shooting situations on this base. There's been crimes and other things that have happened here. What does this say to you?
No, again, I think we're going to have to, this is going to be fully investigated, and once we determine, again, we've already talked about don't know motives at this point, more details certainly to come, but we'll be looking at every aspect of it, what lessons we can learn, what additional security procedures would be needed, but again, we're still very early in the investigation.
Did you say the shooter killed himself?
Apparently, right, the shooter apparently by a self-inflicted gunshot.
We have time for just a couple more questions.
Can you talk about the response from all the different agencies on the island, as well as the civilians that obeyed orders for the lockdown?
Right. I think it really was an incredible response. Joint Base Pearl Harbor security personnel were on the scene within minutes. HPD also responded, and on base to add assistance. Obviously, NCIS is leading an investigation right now, but we will continue. As information becomes available, we'll make sure that we get the information out.
And was the Columbia on a Western Pacific deployment, or?
I don't have her current schedule right now, but obviously she in the dry dock it's pretty deep maintenance right now.
Okay, last question.
Sorry, what are the conditions of everybody?
Okay, again, shooter is confirmed dead by an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. There were 3 shooting victims. 2 of the victims are confirmed deceased. The third civilian shipyard worker victim is in stable condition at a local hospital.
Got it.
All right.
Thank you. And Public Affairs will be providing other updates on our website. You have on your list too.
That's the latest here from the Nimitz Gate. You heard Rear Admiral Rob Chadwick updating the media there. Gunman is confirmed a sailor. He is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He opened fire on 3 civilians. 2 of the victims have been pronounced dead. The other is in stable condition. We'll have much more for you later in this newscast. Back to you.
Sorry, Cherry, can you say that one more time?